Welcome once again. Today we will discuss a very interesting topic that I think is useful for many people, and I know is also not that easy. Negotiations in general require practice, confidence, and knowledge. So we are going to cover the knowledge part here, and if you need practice, you can also participate in some of the activities as well. When it comes to confidence, you can listen to the recording of the previous two webinars, which were exactly about this topic. To start with our today's lesson, I would like to hear your thoughts. So once again, please feel free to open the chat box. Here is a popular saying that I hear often. It says, in today's business, you don't get what you ask for, you get what you negotiate. Do you guys agree with this or not? You can tell me in the chat box if this sounds good to you or not. If you disagree, or if you do agree, I would also like to hear why. So, does it feel or sound good? In today's business, you don't get what you ask for, you get what you negotiate. Personally, I have seen more than once in my life that this is true. Whether we like it or not, we need to improve our negotiation skills in many aspects of our lives, and that is why we are here today. Before moving on to the actual advice, I just want to bring up some vocabulary that is going to be useful for you in the slides that we're going to cover. So the first word for today is a bottom line, or bottom line in this case, which refers to a company's net earnings, their net income or earnings per share. Attrition is the second word, and as you can see, these are very specific words and not that common, so you can also write them down, but I will send you a follow-up email with the blog post with this topic as well. Attrition is the reduction in the number of employees in a company that is made by not replacing those who quit or retire. So if there are people who quit, retire, get fired, whatever, and the company doesn't hire new people, it is called attrition. Word number 3 is disclose. It is a verb, and it means to give private information for financial or legal reasons. And many of you have probably heard or even signed an NDA. An NDA is actually non-disclosure agreement. So that's where it comes from not disclosing information. And the fourth word for today is benchmarking. Benchmarking is actually the act of measuring the quality of something by comparing it with a standard that is widely accepted, so to say. Okay, so as we have already talked today, if you are planning to ask for a promotion or a raise, it's really important not to be intimidated, but to be prepared. So we prevent feeling intimidated by being prepared. And today we are going to practice how to approach your boss and ask for a promotion or a raise. And we are also going to discuss what not to do. I will give you some example sentences and phrases that you can use that are actually very useful, and you can basically copy them and adapt to your own job. To start right away, the first thing, of course, is the opening line. In the opening line of this negotiation, you want to state your intentions clearly. So there is no need to sugarcoat or to avoid saying why you're here. You want to state your intentions clearly yet politely. Of course, you are in your job. The second thing that you should do is recognize if the company has financial challenges. Right now, many companies do, and we are all aware of that, which in some cases doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot ask for a raise. We will discuss it, and you will see how you can do it in the following slides. Whether the company has financial challenges or not, what we also want to do is mention our value and our contribution to the company. So why we deserve a raise even though there are financial challenges in a company. It can be something like this. I'm going to read it unless somebody here wants to read. If anybody does, feel free to raise your hand and I will call you to read this short paragraph, or you can just type in the chat box, but probably not, so I will read the first one. I asked for a meeting with you today to talk about my total compensation package. I know we have been facing difficult financial times, but as you know, I've been a loyal and productive employee in the company for 5 years now. I have prepared a proposal that I believe would compensate my contribution fairly. Of course, you're going to adapt this to your situation, whether in this case it's 5 years or it's more or it's less than that. And of course, personalize it for yourself. What do you think about this approach, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think it's a good one, or would you change something? I would love it if you would participate in the chat box and give me your opinion about this. I think this beginning is actually very nice, and it will open the discussion very politely, yet, as I said, very openly. It is right away, it is clear what it is that you want to say and what it is that you want them to do. Okay, thank you, Slajana. She says she likes it. After introducing your proposal, after opening the proposal, the next step is introducing and telling them why you deserve this raise. First of all, we are going to mention our goals, how we plan to achieve those goals, and the benefits that the company will get from us achieving those goals. So this is also very important to remember, because this is what will get you the raise. Your performance, of course, in the past, and your plans for the future. Now, I want you to remember here that it is really, really important to distinguish between your emotions and the objective reasons you should get a raise. I know it's really easy to slip into explaining that you are expecting a baby, or your landlord has raised your rent, or anything else that is currently happening in your life making you ask for this raise, among other things. And of course, these things are important. Nobody says they are not, but first of all, there is no room for that in your job. And second of all, unfortunately, these things are not going to persuade the person managing budgets. They're all about facts and figures. So what you want to do is go armed with data and make your case based on the value that you provide and you plan to provide to the organization. So how you can do that? Here's another explanation and another example. If anybody wants to read, feel free to raise your hand, but if not, I will again read it myself. So you can say something like this. In my department, we are working to achieve the following goals. And then you say what those goals are. In order to accomplish those, I plan to do this and this and this. And it would be great to give yourself a deadline when you are going to achieve those things. If we meet those goals, the company's bottom line should be increased by 8%. So I hope you remember the meaning of bottom line. I will go back to that slide just to remind you. A bottom line refers to company's net earnings, net income, and earnings per share. Oops. Of course, you are going to, again, adapt this to your role in the company and to your job. That means that you can mention other benefits that you can bring to the company, such as reducing attrition if you're an HR, or reducing absenteeism, or if you're a team leader, improving teamwork, if you're a salesperson, improving sales, if you are I don't know, a journalist, writing more articles per month or something like that. The third step is disclosing the proposal. And to do that, and this step is maybe crucial in the preparation process, do exhaustive research of your market. That means that you really need to know what salary range you are working with. Let's say that you are a salesperson in a company and you want to know how much the competition pays. How much is a general range in the city where you are working for the position that you are applying for. Think about the number of years you've been here, your contributions, and put it all on paper so you can explain why you expect to get this raise, or this promotion. And you can say something like this: I've done some benchmarking, and I have learned that the current rate for someone with my education, training, experience working in this industry and this city is $15 per hour, for example. I believe that you mentioned, I remember that you mentioned the company is not authorizing raises higher than 3% or 5% this year. But I assume, and I love this last part, I assume you have the discretion to make an exception if it is justified. That means that while there are rules and you respect them, you are also aware of the fact that this person can make a decision regardless of those rules. And you are just going to say, I assume, give them, the steering wheel, but show them that you are aware that it can be done. And it's not always going to work because sometimes they just don't have a budget for giving you a raise or a proposal. So what do you do then? You should have a backup plan. That means that if there is no way that you can walk out of this negotiation with cash, you can negotiate benefits. What are benefits? Asking for working from home once or twice per week, more vacation days, a more flexible schedule, stock, or any other perks that you can think of that can help you keep more of the money that you earn, or at least make your life more enjoyable. So it's really important to think about this, because sometimes the company is really not going to be in the position to give you a raise, but they can give you some things that don't cost them money. And it's a good second prize for now. And if all else fails, you can always ask for an earlier review and speed up your climb on the negotiation ladder. Slatina says, be ready for education. Of course, You can always educate yourself more, prepare for the next moment when you are going to ask for a raise again, and just but regardless of whether you are going to work, of course, it should go without saying that you should always try to improve yourself, to do more trainings, education, learn more, and become better, whether you are expecting a raise or not. But if this failed, you can ask for education budget, or maybe there is a language teacher within this the company that is paid for, but they can give you classes at a discount or for free. So think of something that will make it worthwhile to stay in this position. Oh, where is my mouse? Sorry, something is my mouse just died. Wonderful. Okay, give me a second. Finally, don't forget to say thank you. That means say thank you even if you're not happy with what you got. Why? Because first of all, it's polite and it's common business etiquette. But secondly, they're going to remember it, and you don't want to be remembered as the person who was grumpy and angry, or God forbid, threw things or something like that when they didn't get what they wanted. So if you accept this with dignity and with a positive attitude, the chances are higher for you to be next in line for the promotion when the time is right. We are all aware, again, that the situation right now, not just in Serbia, but literally everywhere in the world, is not the best for a promotion. So especially now, you can be prepared that there is a possibility for you not getting that raise, but it should not discourage you, and you should still maintain proper business etiquette, politeness, and thank them, if nothing else, than for their time and for listening to what you had to say. Now, when it comes to negotiations, there are also several things that we should definitely not do when it is happening. And the first one I have already mentioned, but I do want to this is very stressful without a mouse. Sorry for that. Can you just type for me? Do you still see the presentation, Slađana, or anybody else? Just type yes if you can still see the presentation. It would be really helpful. Yes, okay, excellent, thank you. For me, it's kind of, my computer is playing tricks with me, but it doesn't matter. So the first thing, don't let emotions overwhelm you. It is very important to stay professional and stay calm. And remember that passion for what you do is one thing, but if you lose control of your emotion, whether it's frustration or anger or sadness, you are unlikely to recover from it, and you have left a horrible impression at that point, let's be honest. So again, while your request for a raise may be financially driven by your circumstances at home, whatever they are, your conversation with your boss needs to be strictly business. Unfortunately, I have to be very honest here, no one cares that you have a lot of bills. What they care about is the value that you bring to the company. So sell yourself on why you deserve the money based on that value. Try to stay focused and away from those emotions that could make a really bad impression on everybody there. Second thing that you shouldn't do is present your current salary or your current position as a problem. That means that you don't want to start with complaints. You have been working for 3 years without a significant raise, or again, the cost of living in your area has gone up, or whatever it is. You are again not being emotionally neutral, and your manager or the HR or whoever you're talking to can make assumptions about your attitude that you wouldn't like. Instead, what you want to do is present yourself as a solution to the problem of the company or to their challenges, and then they can see by themselves that they can't afford not to give you that raise. The third thing, and this is something that many people, a trap that many people fall into, is comparing yourself with others. It is very dangerous, and it could even get you fired. So be very careful about what you say and about what you who you compare yourself to, or better yet, don't compare yourself to anyone. Under no circumstances should you say, I know that Sally got a 3% increase and I work much harder than her, so I should get at least 5%. It is never okay to use this kind of information when discussing a race. So don't make the conversation that you have with your boss about somebody else. This is about you. It's not about Sally. It's not about Mark. It's not about any of those people who may have got a raise, but they know why. Now, we talked earlier that you, and I keep repeating, that you want to provide value. You want to show them why you are so great, why they should give you that promotion or a raise. But stay in some. Don't go too much. Don't try to impress your boss, because you may end up coming off as bragging or pretentious. You want this person to feel at ease with you. So you want them to understand what it is that you are doing and how you are making this company more successful, better, or whatever it is. But if you do it too much, it can actually get in your way. It can actually make you look arrogant or pushy, and well, nobody wants that, right? Finally, you do not want to give an ultimatum, saying things like, I should get this raise, or I will leave, sorry, I should get this raise, or I will quit, or anything like that is not going to help you. You really want this person you are talking to see why you deserve the raise, but you don't want to threaten them or make them feel, well, they won't be scared of you, but they may think, okay, this guy thinks too much, or this girl thinks too much of him or herself, so they should wait. Don't give an ultimatum. It could also end up badly for you. You could get fired instead of getting that raise. Now, some final questions for you, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to see if you agree or disagree with this statement and discuss this a little bit with you. So you can use the chat box to tell me a yes or no, whether you agree to the first statement. If your immediate boss declines your request for a pay raise, you should take the proposal to a higher superior. Let's see in the chat box. Do you agree with this or not? I will be waiting for your responses. And I have to say, well, I'm actually not going to tell you my opinion before you tell me yours. Okay, Maria says no. Thank you, Maria. Any other opinions about this? Is this something a person should do when asking for a raise? Slajana disagrees, Marina disagrees. Anybody else? Does anybody agree with this statement maybe? There is no wrong answer, it's just a discussion. So don't be scared of giving any opinion. Anybody else want to share? Well, in this case, I think I would agree with Maria, Slajana, and Marina. It's just not very nice. And chances are you won't get that raise from a higher superior, and then your boss, your immediate boss, is just going to probably get offended, and it's just not the right way to go. Let's see about the second statement. The best moment to request a promotion is right after you accomplished an important goal or project. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? Okay, Maria agrees, but Slajana disagrees. Milica says maybe. Okay, I see we have a live discussion about this one. It would be great if anybody wanted to talk a little about this. You can raise your hand and explain your attitude, why you do or don't agree with it. I'd really love to hear it. There is, again, especially when it comes to this, there is no wrong answer, but I would love to hear what you think. Yes, you can also write, of course, Milica, or anybody else. You can write your opinion about this. Although I do have to say this is a unique opportunity for you to speak to someone in English without being judged. Just saying. But I see that you have different opinions about this, and I do understand why. And there are two sides of this. The one side, well, I will wait for Milica to write her opinion, and then I will explain. And while she does, I would also like to hear, here she is. I believe you can wait a week or two. Maybe they will give a bonus or an increase in salary. If not, you should ask, definitely. Yes, so you can wait to see if they will recognize it on their own, which I definitely agree with. But it's still close enough within a week or two that you can ask for a raise based on what you have done. Yes, so it's not wrong to ask for a promotion right after an important goal or a project is finished, because logically you can tell them, I just accomplished this and I deserve it based on what I have done. On the other hand, it may sometimes, depending on the situation, seem a bit too pushy and a bit too confident. So maybe the best choice would be what Milica said, to wait just a little bit. Don't go right away. Third one, and I would again like to see your opinion in the chat box. If you finished your master's degree, it is natural the company should agree to pay you more. Is this true? Oh, well, do you agree with this or do you disagree? Oh, we have Slajana who wants to speak. Wonderful. Slajana, you are unmuted. Go ahead.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Hello to everyone. I talked about this question earlier.
Okay.
If employer has master degree, I think that depends of position, current position, that worker, candidate. But if company does need maybe employer with that degree, I think that that company wasn't give the
they won't give them a raise if not necessary. Is that what you mean?
necessary. But if company needs that that education, I think it will be okay to pay more that person.
Yes, absolutely. So, as somebody, thank you, Slajana, very much for giving us your opinion and for speaking a little to me. Slajana is one of my students, by the way, so I know that she she isn't shy to talk to me. Thank you very much. So, yes, as Slajana said, and as some of you have written already, it depends on the company and it depends on your position. Somebody says if you work for a public institution, then probably yes, but maybe that's not the best example. Yes, of course. If, as Slajana said, there is an opportunity for you to get a higher position based on this new education that you have acquired, then it is natural that they agree to pay you more. But if not, it's not something to expect. It's rather something to hope for. Maybe that's the way to put it. Um, Maria says it definitely depends on the company. In many companies, people are hired with high school diplomas. Yes. And Melissa says, I know that this is not the case in private companies, especially foreign, because I changed several. Yes. Yes. Very good. So, of course, it depends on where you're working. We know that there are many different ways that you can get a promotion in our country, but if I think maybe what Slajana said is really important, that if they require a person with higher education, then it's great if you just got it, and it would be natural for you to get that position rather than hire someone new or something like that. But that basically brings us to the end of our today's webinar. I want to thank you all for being here. If anybody has a question about this, feel free to raise your hand now or type it in the chat box, and I would be more than happy to answer it. As I said, thank you for being here and for keeping me company today. I hope you have learned something new that is going to be useful for you. That's all for today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you will enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay inside, stay healthy, and stay safe. And hopefully I will see you again on Friday. Bye.